So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the sounds that went into making this video kind of come alive. I'm just going to be strictly focusing on the sound design. If this video gets a lot of feedback, perhaps I'll break down the visuals and other aspects of it. But solely for this video, we're going to be talking about sound. So for videos like this, I start off by putting all the visuals in place, then I put the music in, and then I trim up the visuals to match the beat of the music. Then I do sound design, and then I top it off with some color correction and grading and some audio tweaks to polish the final video. But for the sound design, I always start off by going to a sound library like Epidemic Sound or even YouTube, and I just look for sounds that would match what is going on in the video, like certain interactions with objects and even environmental sounds to help bring the video alive. So for example, the first sound that we have in this video is the sound of this jar sliding across this countertop. And I went on to Epidemic Sound to search for it, and sometimes you just gotta search some weird things to find it. I mean, you don't always find what you're looking for by just typing in what like is literally happening. So I could type in like jar sliding across countertop and nothing's gonna pop up. But what I did is I typed in slide on, and then a bunch of different things popped up. Sometimes the sound that you're looking for isn't what you're looking for verbatim. Like the one that I used for that jar sliding across the countertop was called tool sliding on wood or something like that. And at first glance, you listen to it and it doesn't really sound like what a jar would sound like. But that's when you drop it into Premiere and you mess with some of the effects like filters, and you stretch it out and you change the pitch and other things to help with making that sound fit the scene better. Does that make sense? So let me give you an example of how I would edit this sound once I put it into Premiere. So I drop it in, it's right here, and let's listen to it. That doesn't even sound good at all. So what I did is I dropped the speed of it. I dropped it to about 29%, and then let's listen to that again. That sounds a little bit better, but it could be more, I think, bassy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop on a low pass filter, and let's leave it at 1500 hertz here. Now I'm just going to put on a cross dissolve on both sides of this for the audio to blend in nicely. I'm going to drag this one out. I made a tutorial on how I hotkeyed the in and out on the constant power audio transition for ease of just being able to make the ends just blend in. If you want to watch that, I'll put it here. But now it sounds rather good. So that's how I would edit something that doesn't sound right starting off and make it sound right through putting on filters and adjusting the speed and maybe even adjusting other things like pitch and such. So that's when I can find sounds through a sound library. But when I can't find the sounds through a sound library, that's when I create my own sounds. When I create my own sounds, I usually watch the video through 2 to 3 times, and I just jot down notes of where I think sound could be used to enhance the video. So anything like an object interaction, a hand touching something going on in the background, maybe even just some like cinematic whoosh sounds. Let's jump downstairs where I recorded sounds for this video, and you can see my process of how I try to emulate the sounds that I see in this video. So I've gathered all these items to hopefully create a soundscape that will match or mimic what we would think as being the real sounds emitting from all these different objects in the video. I might actually change some of the items. The book pages might be too thick. That's why I grabbed this one here. Grabbed a pen. It's actually the exact pen, so that should sound perfect. I grabbed a bowl, cup. Might change this because it's pretty thick. And then also a bowl to act as the pouring the beans into the coffee grinder. We will see if this sounds realistic. If it doesn't, we'll change it up. If it does, let's get started. For recording the audio, I will be using a Zoom H1N. It's a decent little recorder, only about $100. I'll have the impact of it when it hits the bowl, maybe a little gentler. we're gonna have to do that a few times, I think, just to get some variations. Ah! The fridge just started running. Whatever. This isn't a professional shoot. I'm not in a studio. Ideally, you would want to be in a studio and actually have like soundproof walls and a room that is dedicated to recording sound. I am in the kitchen where there is echo, bad echoes. So it's just a YouTube video. Let's get some more beans in here. So there is a shot where the camera is kind of down low and the beans are coming at it, and I think I want to get the sound of the beans kind of hitting a surface that is above it. We will see if that even matters. I might even just be able to use me pouring that and just maybe play with the sounds and the volume and maybe some like filters. We'll see, but I do want to try and get like maybe the microphone underneath the bowl to see if I can get like a certain sound, you know? Okay, now I'm gonna get some like shaking sounds of when it's in the grinder shaking up. I did find a sound of a coffee grinder, but you can't really hear the beans rattling around, so I kinda wanna get that rattle around sound and just add it in there very subtly. What I wanna do is actually mimic the movement of the camera and go down with it. I honestly don't know if this actually affects it, if this will just be better off in post by recording in close proximity and then mimicking distance through adjusting audio levels. I'm not sure, I'm not a sound engineer, so all you sound people out there, let me know, does that actually give a more real effect by moving the microphone with the subject, with the camera, or just doing that in post? Now I want to capture the sound of the jar beans going up into the air and then back down. I'm thinking the beans would rise up with the jar and then hit the lid. So it's kind of like this. The dogs are barking outside, so I'm trying to like... I did forget one piece of the puzzle. That is a pitcher. Because there's a scene where I am pouring the coffee out into a mug, and we're gonna do that. So there's a shot where he grabs the Chemex and then pours it into the mug, what I just recorded, and I just wanna get that kind of impact sound of his hand grabbing the mug. It was a wooden handle, so it might sound better with wood, but I don't have a wooden thing to grab. I mean, I could try this. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, this will suffice. It'll be really subtle anyways. Grabbing the mug off the table with liquid inside, so it'll change the sound. Because you can listen to this, and then listen to this. It's just got a weightier feel to it. Just a subtle slide off the countertop. Beautiful. Next, there's a shot of him sipping the coffee, and I just gotta get that classic sip sound. It feels a little weird. That was money. That was money. It's like ASMR sipping. Thing is with that is it's so close. I think I might, because the camera's out here, I'm just gonna try and do this again, but from a distance. Next shot is placing the coffee down on a glass coaster, which I don't have a glass coaster, but that'll do it. That'll do it. All right, let's drop this back down. I've got this, and I'm just gonna take this, fill this back up with water. Place the mic right here. Audio levels are way too high. All right. Sound of cup on coaster. Oh, what about this guy? That might be better. Perfect. Alright, so the next shot is grabbing the Bible and sliding it into frame. I think I'm going to start off with the actual Bible just to get that realism effect. And he grabs it, slides it into frame. The problem with this is I think because of the thinness of the pages, it's so like floppy sounding rather than like this sound. Where this is actually more rough because it has the thicker pages. But regardless, we're gonna try it out, see what happens. Ooh, that's peaking way too hard. You don't want your audio levels to peak. That's an obvious statement. Okay, I think that'll do it. And then I'm gonna need also the sound of the last page kind of coming down like that. And then the sound of it, his finger hitting it. And then he goes for the pen. I'm just gonna simulate a catch and a clip. Perfect. All right, the writing on paper scene. Try not to slide my hand. And I'm actually gonna write some words to make it look a little believable. That's all we need. All right, now we're back at the computer. So as you can see, the green ones here are the ones that I downloaded from the sound library, and the rest, all the blue, are ones that I recorded myself. So it just kind of shows how much I found on a sound library versus how much I actually recorded myself. So just for timely reasons, I'm just gonna show you like 1 or 2 more examples of how I match the sound to the visuals. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you the final without sound design, and then I'll show you the final with and show you how much more it just brings the final edit to life. Some of these are actually just straight out of the recorder, like this one. I just essentially dropped the decibels and made it a little quieter, but other than that, it worked perfectly for me. Sometimes you get lucky. I'm gonna go over these 2 sounds here. They're layered together as the beams are grinding in the grinder. I dropped the decibels to -10, and then I also slowed it down by 50%. And I didn't actually put any filters on it, and I like the way it sounds. And then you have here the beans. Out of the recorder, it didn't sound just right, so what I did is I boosted it by 10 because it was really quiet. So I boosted it by 10 decibels, and I also slowed it down to about 55%. And this one I also did not put any effects on. So yeah, you put these 2 sounds together, you got the sound of the beans moving and the grinder. It's very subtle. And it's actually pretty low on volume, but with the music playing, it'll be pretty subtle. And that's what you want with sound design. You don't want it to be overly loud, over the top. You want it to be very subtle and minimal so that when people are listening to it, they're not taken out of the experience by what they're hearing. They're more drawn into it. It seems pretty basic. It seems kind of redundant for me to go through and show you how I edit these. So now that you saw the process, let's listen to the video with no sound design, just the music, and then we'll listen to it with all the sounds, the music, everything combined, the final product. All right, let's listen. Alright, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my process of how I develop the sounds for my videos and how I bring it to life. I hope you learned something. I hope you took something away. If you want me to do more videos like this, let me know. I love sound. I love talking about sound. I want to learn more. I'm very naive in this field, and a lot of this might have been really amateur editing techniques. So all you professionals out there, let me know what I'm doing wrong, and I would love to get better at doing this. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and consider subscribing if you want to follow along for more of this kind of stuff. I'm going to keep doing more video related stuff, maybe do some photo stuff, maybe do some deep life topic stuff. Who knows? This is my channel and it's kind of a free flow thing. Stick around if you enjoyed it. Give it a like if it helped you and you learned something from it. Give it a dislike if you thought you gained absolutely nothing from it, because it'll help me out, you know. And until next time, have a great day.